Jai Shri Ram. This could be the topic on which you have to write an essay. You're given 30 minutes and there are 6 grade points. And remember, if you write in a particular manner, you are likely to score at least 4 out of 6. But they will never tell you why you got 4 or why you didn't get 5. So ETS does not have any accountability. They hide behind secrecy. They will never answer your questions. But anyway, that's not the problem now. Your problem right now is to how to develop a good essay so that at least you should get 4 out of 6. Okay. So all students should be required to take at least one course in ethics, even if taking the course means a decreased emphasis on academic subjects. This is the topic. My recommendation broadly is to follow this simple acronym which I have created, which is GODAV, G-O-D-A-V. G for grammar, sentences should be grammatically correct. O for organized response, which means there must be a clear introduction where you take a position instead of creating suspense. You must clearly take a position. In other words, what I am saying is, remember all these topics are highly debatable. Therefore, do not fully agree or disagree. Always say that there are multiple perspectives that have to be analyzed. To a certain extent, what the speaker says is true, but there are many counter examples too that have to be explored. Therefore, I cannot agree in toto with what the speaker says. So this should be broadly the approach, right? So which means you will write 2 or 3 paragraphs in support and 2 paragraphs countering or opposing what the speaker said, and your introduction will be very clear that this is a very moot, M-O-O-T. Moot means debatable, not yet settled, undecided. So this is a moot topic, and so we need to really examine all the perspectives, and we cannot make any sweeping generalization, right? So the same thing, if you paraphrase, that is your conclusion. Write 4 or 5 small paragraphs which will form the body of the response, and each paragraph should be very small and crisp. You should follow my PREP formula, which means point, reasons, examples, point. Which means when you write an essay, the first sentence should be the point. Let us now examine why A is good for health. That's the point. The next sentence you will give reasons why you think A is good for health. In the next sentence you will give an example of how A was consumed by somebody or a group of people who were suffering from some particular condition and how they recovered. Now that means you have given an example of the effectiveness of A, and therefore in the light of the examples and the reasons given above, we can safely conclude that A has many curative and therapeutic applications or benefits. Something like that you conclude. If you don't want to conclude and if you want to write further, don't write the last sentence. And then continue. Further benefits can also be noticed in the case of next paragraph. So you write 2 paragraphs, right? So 2 in support, 2 in opposition, you write that. So this is actually taking a dialectical approach. Now DIALECTAL, dialectical means examining the thesis and examining the antithesis, and then putting them together and bringing up or building up a synthesis. So A is good for health is the thesis. A is dangerous is the antithesis. Listen to both parties and then you will understand that yes, A in some cases is very good, but A for some people is contraindicated and therefore it is dangerous. Now we have a better understanding of A, that is the synthesis. Synthesis means building up. So this whole process of taking a synthesis and taking a look at the antithesis and arriving at a synthesis, this whole process is called dialectics in logic, or dialectical approach, dialectical thinking. In the parliament, that is what is supposed to happen, but unfortunately that doesn't happen because most parliamentarians have no idea what logic and critical thinking is all about. We are sending the wrong people there. Okay. So GODAV, organized response, clear introduction, clear conclusion, crisp paragraphs following the PREP format. Then G-O-D, details. Details means examples and reasons. A, addressing the topic. Make sure that you understand the topic and write exactly on what you have been asked. If you are too hasty, you will misunderstand the topic and write something which goes off on a tangent, and you will get a very low score. V for vocabulary. Do use some good words, at least 10 words. Make sure that you research at least 10 words thoroughly, so that you are ever ready, whether it's a speech or a writing task. These 10 words should be handy and ready in your mind, and you should be able to quickly start forming sentences with those words and insert them somewhere in the passage, so that you get a good score for vocabulary too. That's being smart. So all students should be required to take a course in ethics, even if that means a reduced emphasis on other academic subjects. Okay, what are the points in support of this? Yes, school also has an important responsibility in molding our character. Molding our character. Because parents, religion, culture, the political atmosphere are all playing a role in molding our character. Character means our integrity, moral values. And the teachers and school also play a very important role. Therefore, if we churn out students who are highly qualified but unethical, psychopathic, with no sense of conscience and greedy, materialistic people, then we will have a society full of criminals. So, well, a course in ethics will definitely help, provided it is not too theoretical. There has to be a lot of interaction, rigor in the classroom. Rigor in the classroom means interaction between the teacher and the student. So there must be a lot of thought experiments, lot of critical thinking, and we should have the courage to question the fundamentals of religion too. Because if your religion is teaching you lechery, butchery and treachery, if your holy book is full of absurdities, lechery, butchery and treachery and all kinds of criminal dogmas, what can the school do? It will be like trying to apply lipstick on a pig, or varnish on something that is rotting internally. So if the wood is completely rotten, what is the point of applying varnish on the wood? So that's useless. So if the religion itself is extremely questionable, I can't name them. So there are many religions which are so rotten, but so huge in the sense that billions of people are following it. And if these people think that having a course of ethics in school is going to make a difference, they are grossly mistaken. Anyway, I said what I said. You may not be able to write all that I have said, but I'm sure I'm making you think, because critical thinking is something I love, and we Hindus also love. Hindu religion teaches us to question anything, including God. Ninda stuti is part of Hinduism. In other religions, blasphemy is punishable. It's a capital crime. In Hinduism, Ninda stuti is a very interesting oxymoron. It is praising God while simultaneously actually criticizing Him. So that is blasphemy. In other religions, blasphemy is a capital crime. Punishment is death. So anyway, so you can write, even if I said what I've said, you can elaborate it into 4 or 5 paragraphs. How it should be taught, who should teach, who, what, where, when, why, how. Who should teach, how it should be taught, where should it be taught, when should it be taught, why should it be taught? We already explained. The school also has a responsibility in molding our character. When should it be taught? Who, what, where, when, why, how. For each of these questions, you can come up with some questions, write a paragraph where you try to answer this, and that's it. So like I'm repeating myself. If the religion or the political atmosphere, suppose you are living in a theocracy or a communist state, which are totally antagonistic and opposed to free speech. Now, what kind of morality can you expect? What kind of ethics? Even if you have a course on ethics which will then tell you to shut up, please shut up, don't express your opinions. So what kind of ethics is that? So if your political setup is a theocratic state, like in Saudi Arabia, or many 55 Islamic states are there, and Vatican is there. So these are all theocratic state. Theocracy means rule by religion, rule by the priest, where free speech is condemned. Now, what kind of impact do you think a mere course in ethics is going to have on the students, when the religion itself is telling them not to raise any questions? Forget blasphemy. Even asking a question is tantamount to blasphemy. So that's what I'm saying. This is just an example. So if you are in, let us say, a dictatorship, suppose you are living in a country which is ruled by a dictator, Kim Jong, North Korea, do you think a course in ethics is going to make any difference to the people? Or in communist China? So when the whole atmosphere, the force field is fully vitiated, a mere course in ethics is not going to be of any help. So only in a democratic society there is hope that a course in ethics can make some kind of an enhancement in the character of the students. Jai Shri Ram.